Am I the asshole for wanting my parents in town, but not at my house while I'm adjusting to life with a newborn? I, 24 female, am currently pregnant, due in December. I live with my fiance, Dan, in the town where I grew up. I have a great relationship with my parents, but they had me quite late in life and they're both retired now, living in a beach town in the South. When they moved out, they sold me the house I grew up in well below market value in exchange for me hosting them when they needed/wanted to come into town. It's been like that for 2 years. They've been here a bunch of times for 3 to 4 days at a time, and it's been a good arrangement, I think. Now, yesterday, I was talking to my mom about the birth, and I brought up that I would like her to be in town when I gave birth and to stay for a few weeks after. Dan has no relationship with his family, and I'm an only child with only a couple of very elderly aunts and a few cousins I don't have much of a relationship with. So we don't really have much in terms of a support system. Therefore, I'd love for my parents to come here and help around the house with the baby, offer me the emotional support I know I'm going to need, etc. My mom was excited that I was asking her to do this and said that she'd be okay with staying with us for a few weeks while we adjusted to the baby. I then told her that I didn't mean her staying with us, just in town, as I believe Dan and I are going to need and want alone time to adjust to the baby. My mom was a little offended, saying that she wasn't going to bother us and she was going to help out. But I told her it was nothing personal. I just preferred if she got a hotel or an Airbnb or something. My father then intervened, having been somewhere within earshot, and said that accommodation was going to be really expensive around that time of year. Our town has a very famous, very big Christmas market, and he wasn't about to spend thousands of dollars when I was asking them to come, and it had been our arrangement when they sold me the house that they could stay whenever they wanted, which, fair. But I don't think that having a newborn at home is just a regular time in someone's life, and it's not like I ever complained about them coming over before. I just don't want them in the house, but I do want them in town, and I feel a little sad that they are putting money above me and their grandson. My mother hung up the call trying to appease the situation, but then sent me a text saying that her and my dad were a little upset over the whole thing and that they thought I wasn't being reasonable. When Dan got home, I told him all this, and he kind of sided with them, saying that they should be allowed to stay with us, but I still don't think it makes sense, as we are going to be needing our alone time. Was I the asshole here?
I think it's a very have your cake, eat it too type of...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and also I'm confused why she's so stuck on this alone time type of thing. It's like, if anything, you would think that it would be her partner that would be like, you know what? I want to have time with just you and the baby and not have my in-laws in town.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, they're totally welcome. And honestly, the whole situation, if it was for the fact that if they had their own space and la la la, and then she was saying, I'd love for you to be here. However, we do want our own space during this time. But if you can make it, I would love for you guys to be in town. But the fact that it was very much like, yep, I want you to help out, but figure out your own stay. And this was our agreement, but I'm just going to say, fuck it. You know?
Fuck you, get an Airbnb.
Yeah, and it's like she has a right to feel that way, but then it's like I said, have your cake, eat it too mentality. It's kind of like you're not in the right situation in order to demand that.
Yeah. Well, I also wonder, and granted, I have not popped a watermelon out of my pussy. I haven't had a kid.
What?
I don't know. I'm getting a little unhinged. But I haven't had a baby. We'll put it that way. But I have been around many people who have.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law and brother, for example. I was there when they had their first little one. I don't know what alone time she thinks she's going to be getting. The first couple weeks with a newborn.
Yeah.
From what I've seen with people, you're typically lucky if you get to sleep. You're typically lucky if you get a regular shower.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of alone time as you're adjusting. So it would almost make me think if your parents were there 24/7 to help out, that might ensure you actually get alone time. Because what are you going to do if your baby starts crying? You can't leave it crying in a crib all night.
They wake up all throughout the night. Don't you want them to be there?
Yeah. You can say, Mom, I'm really tired. Would you watch the baby for a couple hours while I go take a nap? This is
I think maybe it's just because she doesn't know yet. She doesn't know how she's going to feel. And so she just doesn't want to.
Well, I do get that where you're like, you want your own space. You don't want to be, catering to guests, but they're not guests.
Yeah. And I bet you that once the baby does come, she's going to be like, please just stay here. I want to just go for a walk with my husband and not think about it. Like stay over.
Yeah. This is why these deals with family are so tough because like they already sold her the house.
Right.
And it's like, you can't, like, what do you do now? Like, what do you do? Because like technically she could never let them stay there again. And it's like, well,
right.
Like it's not like there's not a contract.
Maybe, but
like would it actually be able to be enforced?
Right.
Like, I don't know. So sometimes it doesn't pay to do family favors, as shitty as that sounds, but
yeah. And I think that it sounds like her parents are pretty reasonable. Like they didn't scream at her.
No.
Like they're just saying, it kind of hurts our feelings and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think they expressed their like angst and like, I think not like, not even like frustration, but more so like disappointment. Like we made you this deal and like we helped you by selling you a house for well below market value. Like,
right.
Do you know how many people would like appreciate that from their family so much? Like as a millennial?
Yeah. And like
how hard it is?
Or you know what I would say if I was her parents? I'd be like, okay, then you can pay for our stay. You already saved thousands and thousands of dollars, so you can cover our stay and we're totally down. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. There are some comments from OP. Maybe that'll highlight some stuff for us. Someone commented and go, "You're the asshole. Holy fuck. You want them to spend several weeks in a hotel, an Airbnb, but only when she's not helping you with your baby and helping around your house, giving you emotional support? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Of course they're putting money first because they're the ones who would be spending thousands of dollars for a goddamn hotel just to help you out with the baby.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Putting blame on them is unfair and unnecessary. You're the one reneging on the deal that you agreed to, which was for you to house them when they come to town.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not like they live next door and are trying to come over every day. Like,
no, they retired in a beach town. Like,
yeah.
And you're asking them to stay for an extended period of time to help you. It truly is like you want your cake. You want, what is it? You want to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And honestly,
why is that so hard for me?
Not that all only children are like this, but like she's giving off some only children energy right now. Like just expecting them to just
very entitled.
Do things for her and just not give back,
Yeah, but Justin doesn't have this only child energy, or I wouldn't.
No, and that's why I'm saying it's definitely not like it's like
it's not the rule.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the exception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like what, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know a lot of incredible only children, so I'm not at all saying
there's some shitty ones though.
And I don't even think this girl sounds like shitty at all. I just think she's not thinking. Yeah, I don't think she sucks. I just think that like
she's just out of touch.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely did not handle this a good way. Like I think she could have handled this a better way. Mm-hmm. Even if she would have been like, hey, maybe for the first week while we're home, just let us adjust to the baby in the house. And like it is like a big adjustment. And then for the other 3 weeks that you're in town, like you can stay at the house. Just give us 1 week.
Or maybe they just don't have them come for the first week.
Even, yeah, there you go. So OP responds to that comment I just read. And they go, "I have upheld the agreement at any other time. I just don't think that this exact moment with a baby on the way would be the perfect time to have them over, but would like to have them here. But I understand where you are coming from."
Yeah, she seems reasonable.
Someone goes, "Info, did you offer to pay for their stay?" Lauren, you're onto something. And OP goes, "I wish I could, but I can't really afford putting them in a hotel or Airbnb. I know they can afford it, hence why I asked. I wouldn't have if it wasn't financially possible for them."
Yeah, I think it's just principle for them.
But also, like, I would be so frustrated if I gave my child like a $200,000 discount. I'm imagining like a huge discount on this house. And like millennials, like us buying a house these days is like impossible. You really can't do it unless you have generational wealth or your parents helping you.
Yeah.
Like most cases, like it is very hard for a lot of us to buy houses.
If I was her parents, I'd be like, yeah, no problem. I'll just deduct this from your will.
Chalk it up. We'll chalk it up and call it even, sweetie.
Yeah.
Call it
that
even.
portion goes to fundraiser.
Give the rest to charity. You give her a house.
Yeah, right.
But so someone replies to that comment that OP said, like, I wouldn't ask them if it wasn't financially possible. And they go, you're the asshole. I get that you might not have been aware of how entitled your behavior is before you posted this, but if you posted here in good faith, open your eyes. You have generous parents who are willing to give up their time to support you, have already made a financial contribution to your living status, discounted price on the house, and yet want to claim they aren't supporting you. Take a step back, realize that you aren't owed your quote ideal scenario, and decide whether you want your parents to come and stay with you or to not have them around.
Yeah, I think that's a good comment. Because this whole story, it's not something that's like infuriating to me. It's just kind of like, I feel like she's just a little clueless on it.
Yeah. I think, well, and there's one more comment I'll read from OP. And so someone just like goes like, again, you're the asshole. Baby isn't born yet. You have time. But like just a fucking clusterfuck of shit. And so OP goes, my fiance will be home for the first few weeks as he will be on paternity leave. That's why I think it might be a little overwhelming to have them always here. Not just when they're actively helping with the house or the baby. But I understand that maybe I will have to rethink this.
See, she's reasonable.
Hopefully, yeah. I hope that ends up being the case.
It would kind of suck to just post on Reddit thinking that you're going to get validated and everyone calls you an asshole.
Well, so this is like something I didn't really like, we didn't really touch on, but someone comments and it was like one of the most awarded at the time. And they go, she also wants them there to help with housework. She's asking them to come over and clean the house they're not allowed to stay in, then leave to go back to the hotel she expects them to pay for. The audacity, which is true. Like,
yeah,
you're just like, you're kind of using and abusing your parents in that sense. And again, maybe a little clueless.
Yeah, that's what I'm sensing.
But they deleted their account, so I think they definitely got a lot of advice. So hopefully she takes it to heart. But
yeah,
I'd be very frustrated if I was this girl's parents.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
And they sound like saints because they weren't like, fuck you. They were just like,
we're disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's hard too because like the suggestion we had where it's like, okay, well maybe they don't come right away. But
they want to be there for when the baby's first born.
Well, typically, yeah. Like a lot of people, like I know I'd probably want my mom in the room for a little bit of it. I don't know. I don't fucking know. It's scary to think about. But a lot of people do want their mom or their parent in the room. Parents, some people, everyone's got a different birth plan, but it's not like you can have them fly in for the birth and then fly out and then fly back when you want them to be your maid / babysitter / help you. It's a lot of flights, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of entitlement here. I don't know. I definitely think she could have handled this better.
Agreed.
I agree with the majority vote of asshole.
What else we got?